Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a little bit of a surprise session for each and every one of you right now. We wanted to make the most out of a guest that has come and joined us today, and we wanted to hear from him as well. So please put your hands together as we welcome Mr. Navneet Munot. He is the Managing Director and CEO at HDFC Asset Management. And we thought that we would love to have some pearls of wisdom from you this afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. We were here exactly 3 years back to unveil Sarthi Zaruri Hai. And I said, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharate abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijanyam paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. And we had that unveiled. In February 2020, Nifty was 12,000. It was an all-time high, I remember, when we had our event. 10-year bond yield was around 6.5%. Things were looking so good. Had I told you that I have a crystal ball, and over the next 3 years, when we meet again in February 23, in these 3 years, we'll have the biggest health crisis in a century. Millions of people will lose their life. There will be lockdowns for several months. There would be biggest economic crisis in a century. The whole world will have an economic recession. India will have an economic recession which we have not seen in our lifetime. We will have a social crisis, whether it's Black Lives Matter in US, rising inequality because of the COVID, or maybe even the migrant crisis and variety of social crises because of the COVID and other things. We'll have the biggest geopolitical crisis in decades. US-China, India-China, US-Iran, and the mother of all, Russia-Ukraine. I mean, this is the war, biggest war in Europe, in the heart of Europe since Second World War. And we'll have a climate crisis not seen before. The number of floods and droughts and hurricane and the storms that we have seen in last 3 years are absolutely unprecedented. And you would have thought for next 3 years, it would be better to keep the money just in deposit and don't do anything. आप शायद मेरा presentation खत्म होता उसके पहले बाहर जाके बोलते पहले redemption डाल देते हैं, बाकी का बाद में सुन लेंगे, right? But where are we today? We are at close to 18,000. And of course, I think this has also been a great period for active managers. People were also questioning, I remember that day, about our ability to generate alpha. Just look at our returns last year. And people were worried about so many things and where we are today. As an industry, thanks to you and Sarthi Zaruri Hai. So Sarthi Zaruri Hai was so timely. I was saying, Dhruv, 3 years back exactly, I had the honor and pleasure to be here with all of you to unveil Sarthi Zaruri Hai. In this environment, Sarthi बहुत ज़रूरी था investors के लिए. So salute to you. And in this environment where we have come, तो उसके लिए सिर्फ I will say this thing to you, है समय नदी की धार जिसमें सब बह जाया करते हैं, है समय नदी की धार जिसमें सब बह जाया करते हैं, है समय बड़ा तूफान प्रबल पर्वत भी झुक जाया करते हैं, अक्सर दुनिया के लोग समय में चक्कर खाया करते हैं, लेकिन कुछ ऐसे होते हैं जो इतिहास बनाया करते हैं. You have created history. These have been the 3 most challenging years that humanity has seen, particularly people like us, what we have seen in the last 3 years, and what we have done, the right hand holding of the investors, the right guidance of the investors, and that's why each and every Sarthi is sitting here, and those who could not make it anywhere in the country, I salute each one of you. You can clap for yourself again. And Neelkant is a very, very dear friend. Now, because of his knowledge, now you know why Prime Minister has kept him in the Economic Advisory Council, the way of, his ability to look through the data, his ability to look through the noise and make sense of it, not only in the domestic, but even in the global economy. But I'll just tell you, just remember, had I told you in February 20 where we would have been. So you don't have to look at too much of data or anything. Just remember 4 things that you need to keep in mind for next several years. As we have entered Azadi Ka Amrit Kal, just remember 4 things. In fact, I might have repeated at different sessions, you might have heard, but it's important to keep repeating. The way human brain works, unless you keep repeating something, it doesn't get really entrenched in our brain. Number 1, India's economy will continue to grow. Will remain one of the fastest growing major economy in the world for next several years, for next several decades. From $3.5 trillion will go to $25 trillion by 2047. And just think about it. 20-25 trillion dollar matlab almost US की जो economy है today, or maybe what it was 2 years back, will be as large as that. Over the last 25-30 years, our nominal GDP has grown at like 10, 11, 12%. Corporate profits have grown 11, 12%, and market cap has grown at like 13, 14%. There are very few countries in the world who have done something like this. Next 25 years, because of the democracy, because of demographics, because of demand, because of digitalization, and most importantly, the 5th D, the determination of 1 billion Indian, you need to have faith that this is our Amrit Kal. You need to keep that faith. Number 2, savings will continue to rise. I mean, in a $3 trillion economy, 20% household savings, we get $600 billion. This number, as it becomes 5, 7, 10, 20, over a period of time, and as your income level rise, the disposable income, I mean the disposable money which you can save is going to be a lot more. Number 3 things, a larger portion of those savings will come to the capital markets. There would be cycles. There is a part of flow to us, what we have got is structural in nature, which is the SIP and all of that. A part of flow is cyclical. That will depend on relative valuation. Interest rates have gone up, flows have slowed down. Flows will remain little less robust than where they were maybe a year back, because interest rates have gone up, inflation has gone up, people have slightly lesser income. But the structural trend of a larger proportion coming to the capital markets, I think that remains very much intact. If rates have gone up, there is a bigger opportunity on the fixed income side as well. Industry has got 14 crore folios. How many of them are in fixed income? Any guess? Less than 1 crore. It's just around 5 or 6%. So there is still a lot of opportunity to tap. When bank deposits were 100 lakh crore, mutual fund debt AUM and liquid was 10 lakh crores. That 100 lakh crore has become 170 lakh crore, and our 10 lakh crore has only grown to 14 lakh crores. So debt AUM as a percentage of bank deposit has actually come down rather than going up. So you know how much opportunity that we have to grow even on the debt side. And equity allocation, just need to keep one thing in mind. Flows will go up, will go down, there will be like some cycles. If you look at the total household balance sheet in India, it has $10 trillion of assets, 50% in real estate, 15% in gold, only 4.8% in equities, only 4.8%. This number was 2.4% in 2014. We have a long way to go, right? I mean, people have to keep a lot more money in equity. How many of you sitting here are in from B30 towns? There are a lot. Clap for yourself. More than half the SIPs, almost 58% of the new SIP accounts are coming from B30. Even the fintechs, people who think is like digital is an urban phenomena, 75% or so for several of the fintechs, SIPs are coming from B30 because that's so underpenetrated, and mutual fund is no longer a push product, it's a pull product. SIP karni hai. That's a discussion in kitty party, that's a discussion in college cafeteria, that's college campus, and that's a discussion in a corporate cafeteria as well. So that will continue to grow. And the fourth thing is, so first kya tha? India's economy will continue to grow. Number 2, savings will continue to rise. Number 3, larger proportion of those savings will come to the capital markets. उसमें सारथी जरूरी है क्या? बहुत बड़ा रोल है. How many of you saw that SEBI study? 89% of the people who have been trading in options have lost money. सबने देखा है ना वो? लोगों का लॉस नहीं करवाना, हम लोग सारथी हैं, right? So money has to shift within the capital markets. A larger proportion has to come to the mutual funds. And the fourth is digitalization. I think digitalization is only accelerating the whole trend of like everything. I mean, it is good for India's economy, it's good for our markets, and we need to reach out to a lot many more. Over the next several years, while there would be ups and downs, I think what we have seen in last 3 years is such a big challenge that we have seen. We not only showed our resilience, but we really worked with a resolve to take the industry to the next level. I have no doubt in my mind that over the next 25 years, we'll take it to a much, much higher level. India is producing an economic miracle which is unparalleled in human history. India is producing an economic miracle which is unparalleled in human history. What all of us sitting here, and particularly I'm so glad to see so many people who have come from B30 towns and those smaller places, what we need to ensure, and our industry will really do a great job for the nation and future generation, that this growth gets delivered to larger and larger number of Indians. As mutual fund industry, as all the advisors, mutual fund distributors, what we need to do is ensure that fruits are delivered of this growth to a larger and larger part of our population over the next several years. We can celebrate 40 lakh crores, we can celebrate 14 crore folios, we can celebrate 6 crore plus SIP accounts, we can celebrate 13,500 crores of SIP book, but all said and done, there are still 3.67 crore unique investors. This number we have to take to 5, 10, 15 and 20. If we have done, then I think life is worth living. विचार लो कि मरते हो, न मृत्यु से डरो कभी, मरो परंतु यों मरो कि याद तो करें सभी. हुई न यों सु मृत्यु तो व्रथा मरे व्रथा जिए. हुई न यों सु मृत्यु तो व्रथा मरे व्रथा जिए. मरा नहीं वही जो जिया ना आपके लिए. है पशु प्रवृत्ति है कि आप ही चरे. मनुष्य है वही जो मनुष्य के लिए मरे. दूसरों के लिए पैसा बनाना is such a great job. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Now, who would believe that you weren't even prepared to speak today? But please give him another big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Sir, thank you for coming and sharing those wonderful lines with us, other than the knowledge, of course. Could I please request Ms. Sangeeta Zaveri to come and join us so that we can present you with a token of our appreciation?
Thank you.
Especially for you.
Thank you. बस यही याद रखना, साथ ही जरूरी है.
Thank you so much, sir.